Well, hello Facebook and YouTube. How you doing? It's Econ Rebel. We're back live again tonight. And the first thing we're going to do is give away some Bitcoin Cash. So let's get onto that straight away. So let's have a look at yesterday's video and let's pick a winner. Now, if you're not sure how to get onto this, all you need to do is like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and leave a comment or a question. And then, yeah, basically I'll pick the winner tomorrow and you get $10 worth of Bitcoin. That's how simple it is. All right, so let's see who the winner is. And the winner is You Din. Hopefully the Bitcoin increase is not for a moment. So obviously hoping for the Bitcoin to go up. Yes, we are. So congratulations, you've won yourself some Bitcoin Cash. Let's drop that in now. Okay. $10 coming your way. And just give us a reply to let you know that I've sent those funds to you. That'd be great if you could do that. Just click on send. Awesome, done. So congratulations, You Din. All right, so let's get on to it. Okay, let's check out what the market's been doing today. So let's have a look at coin market cap. All right, so I would say it's only just changed recently, but when I was looking at this before, it was pretty much green. It's only just started dropping off a couple of these, a little bit red, but not really minus 1%. So look, we've had a pretty much stable day. Bitcoin Cash, 25% increase. All right, I think I dropped the ball there because I did not see what the hell was going on with that. I wonder if that's got something to do with Bitcoin becoming more difficult to mine. I'll get onto that shortly, but that's, yeah. Before, when I was looking at Bitcoin Cash, it didn't look like it'd gone up so much. So that's a big move. That's only like, last time I checked, it was like $900. So that's a big move there. So Bitcoin's at 8.5, which is great to see. Ethereum, 838. Ripple's back to 77 cents. Big move by Bitcoin Cash. Cardano 35. Litecoin 148. Neo 113. 36 stands for Stellar. EOS $8.42. NEM 57. Haven't really moved too much. IOTA 4%. Dash has moved up pretty good, 7.56%, back up to just under $600. Monero and Lisk at basically 9 and 12% increase there, so that's good to see. So let's have a quick look. While we're on this, let's have a look at this Bitcoin Cash. Now, there was something I wanted to share with you. One of my the comments was, I'll find that comment. It might be listed here. So Rambo says, did you notice a few days back the BTC difficulty change? Well, I didn't. I must have missed that one. So basically, when I have a look at this chart here, now you can go to bitinfocharts.com and they actually have all these different charts. Now this one here is the difficulty in the blue. This is for Bitcoin itself, all right, and the red is Bitcoin Cash. Now, basically, in the last, what period of time? I'd say a day. In the last day, I think this is on a daily basis. Yeah. So in the last day, the difficulty mining Bitcoin has increased. Now, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's something to do with the hash rate. Maybe they were generating blocks too quick, so it's went up there. I'm not 100% sure. It has been increasing. So it was between November and December. it was quite flat, but now we're seeing this increase here. So I don't fully understand that. All I know is that the it has to stay at those 10-minute blocks. So the more hashing power that is used to do it decreases the time, and then what happens is Bitcoin makes it more difficult to do those blocks, and so the difficulty increases, which makes the time longer for the blocks to keep that at the same time. So I believe that's partly how it works. I might have to find some more information about that, but there's something for sure, which is the Bitcoin Cash versus Bitcoin. There is a massive difference. Now I wonder if that has something to do with this price, because and there is a mining, I think it's a comparison. I'll just see if I can find it while we're here. So we want to compare Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash hash rate, maybe. I'll just see if I can find it. There is a place where you can compare the two. I wonder if it's this one here. Let's have a quick look at this one. And maybe it's to do with mining. We'll just have a quick look. If you're not sure, just check it out on Google. You can always, that's the best place to find stuff. It's the best place to do your research. Okay, so it's got a little bit of information there. I wonder if these other ones have got any more info. Okay, just wait for those to load. So hash rate, let's have a look at the difficulty. Yep, so definitely more difficult for Bitcoin at the moment. Now, it'd be interesting to see if the miners are switching over to Bitcoin Cash. That will be interesting. So what is this? So this is saying here, the coin, 20%. Just reading this data. I got a feeling that the Bitcoin Cash is increased to 20%. So they're taking up the hash rate. Why are they doing that? Because it's more difficult to mine Bitcoin, so they're mining Bitcoin Cash instead. There's probably a better chart to show the relationship between the two. I can't see that where it is on here. No, that's okay. I'll just see if it's on this last one. Okay, so that doesn't really tell us at all. Yeah, I know there was a place where you could actually see the comparison between all of them. So, yeah, interesting. I'll have to find out where it is. I'm guessing that it is cheaper or better for them to mine Bitcoin Cash than it is to mine a Bitcoin right now, which is why we've got a 20% move. All right, so I'll just wait till I can I'll get my screen back. My mouse is frozen. Let's see if I can close some of these screens down. I'll see if I can find that other chart. There's one that actually has a comparison between the two, but that's okay. We'll get to that. All right, so let's close some of these other windows down. There was something I saw in the news today which was interesting. Forbes, richest people in cryptocurrency. So if you're wondering if there's money to be made, there is definitely some money to be made. So it's got all these people mentioning here. So it's got The minimum amount of money they needed to be was 350 million. Okay, and what was interesting was there was a lot of, I would say, millionaires and billionaires from both Ether or Ethereum and both Ripple, which was interesting. Now this guy here, he's the CEO of Binance, which is one of my favorite exchanges. So it doesn't really tell you too much. I think they have another report. Maybe they have individual ones when you actually click through to some of these people. I'll just find someone here. So for example, Ethereum, so Vitalik, estimated worth $500 million, age 24. Not too bad. Tim Draper, between 350 and 500 mil, age 59. And I actually have a little bit of an article about Tim, which I'm going to cover in a minute. Upbit, CEO. So notice a lot of these, now this is one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges. So a lot of the CEOs and early people that got into the exchanges did extremely well. And also, of course, some of the projects. CEO of Digital Currency Group. So it was the second market exchange, age 41, worth $500 million. Brad Garlinghouse. What did he get into? Now the CEO of Ripple. Interesting. So worth 400 to 500 million. Co-founder of Ethereum, 500 to 600 million. That's pretty good. Age 30, so not too bad. What else we got? Valerie. So CEO of Bitfury. Yep. Mines Bitcoin. They do mining rigs and stuff like that. So you can see these guys have been around for a while. CEO of Block1, Dan Larimer. Dan's done probably 3 projects, including Steam. There was another project he did, plus the latest one is EOS, which has been going for nearly 12 months. And I think they've nearly got $1 billion last time I checked. So that was interesting. Age 35. Brendan Blummer, worth 600 to 700 million. So far as to do with EOS, so you know they've collected about $1 billion out of that. Michael Novogratz, 700 million to $1 billion from Galaxy Digital, former billionaire. So it's interesting. Some of these people that have got money got into crypto and made more money. Brock Pierce, Bitcoin Foundation, advisor for Block1, between 700 and 1 billion. Interesting. Got into Mastercoin, Coinbase, Ethereum. Antonio Dioria, 750 million to 1 billion. Co-founder of Ethereum, founder of Jax and Decentral. So it's interesting how some of these people came from their projects and then made some money and then went into different things like exchanges and wallets. It's that's obviously where they saw the where money to be made was in those areas. Matthew Roszak. What is this one? I don't know. Worth $1 billion. Co-founder of Block. I'm not familiar with that one. Brian Armstrong, 900 million to 1 billion. CEO of Coinbase, age 35. Incredible. Matthew Mellon, $1 billion. Early investor in XRP. Well, there you go. In Ripple. I think anyone would be doing well if they invested in XRP when it came out. Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, worth 900 to 1 billion. They used the money that they got out of Facebook when they sued Zuckerberg over Facebook, and basically they put, if I remember rightly, they put 12 million, I think, into Bitcoin, and that's worth $1 billion today. Changpeng Zhao, CEO of Binance, worth $1 billion, age 41. Joseph Lublin, 1 to 5 billion. That's a big estimate. Co-founder of Ethereum. So that's interesting. Chris Larson, co-founder of Ripple, 7.5 to 8 billion. Wow. Well, I think that's the last one on the list. So yeah, quite fascinating. You might want to check that out. That's on the Forbes richest in cryptocurrency. So very interesting, just seeing, and we're only talking 3 to 5 years. I think some of these people, I mean, Ethereum only started a few years ago. Obviously, some of them started a little bit earlier than that, and Bitcoin, 9-10 years ago. But it just goes to show that literally you'll be getting into projects now that in 2 and 3 years' time will make people millionaires and billionaires. Obviously, depending on how much you put in, of course, and how much some of these returns are. But this is what happens in this space. It might not always be like that, but while it's growing, this is what can happen. So it's pretty exciting. I better say hello to some of you guys. G'day, Wayne. How you doing? Back William. Hi. Warren Buff. Good evening. Rajay. Hey, how you doing? Rommel. Hey, mate. What's going on? Manto. And yeah, it's good to have you guys on board. Yes, the Winklevoss twins are in that list at about $1 billion. Yes, and you might say, Warren says, Charlie Lee and Roger Ver. There is a bunch of people not in the list. And this is because these are the people that disclose a little bit about, what they had. And Roger Ver is not the type that would probably disclose what he's got. So you can imagine the other people that are in that list that you, would have seen around the place that are... even like Charlie Lee, there you go. Yeah, Charlie Lee, like he had a lot of Litecoin. I don't know what he's into now, but he had a lot of Litecoin, so he could be in that list as well for all we know. Who knows? Maybe they don't like paying tax, so they don't talk about it. I'm not sure. So I just thought I'd share that one with you. If you want to check out that list, I'll just drop that in the chat right now, so that you've got that link. You can have a look. If my dashboard loads, just bear with me. So if you guys have got anything you want to ask me tonight, just make sure you put it in the chat, and I'll try and answer it. I don't think it'll be too much longer tonight. There's a couple of topics I want to cover. And then I'll finish up. I don't want to drag it out too long. I think I did an hour long or something last night, so I got to try and keep these short and short and sweet. Okay, so while you guys are putting some of your questions in, I will just go and have a look at some of these other things I was having a look at. We'll close that one down. This one, Coinbase, is another interesting thing I did talk about briefly yesterday, which was Coinbase are doing the final testing of Segwit. So they're planning on implementing this into Coinbase. Now, obviously, Coinbase is pretty big. People that use it, essentially by activating this, is going to mean cheaper transactions on Bitcoin. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when they do implement it. Now, just in case you're not aware, it does what it's actually doing. The really simple version of what Segwit is, and you can read up on it here. See, they got an issue with the block size, right? So what they do is instead of expanding it, instead of expanding it and making it more, what they're doing is removing stuff. And this is why I find it difficult to deal with, because the whole idea of the blockchain and the signatures and everything's built on one another is so that it's solid, it's real, it hasn't been tampered with. And what they're doing, here's the key thing. They're removing certain signature data from the Bitcoin transactions. So in other words, they move parts of it to free up space so that more transactions can fit on the chain. And so essentially they're removing the signature part, which is the signature part is the part that gives Bitcoin the protection that these transactions did happen. They weren't like made up. They weren't fraudulent. It wasn't some sort of hack or anything like that. They're actually, removing that. This is why so many people don't want to partake in Sedgwick, because they don't believe in that technology and they believe it's flawed. Now, what will happen is if this is adopted and it has flaws, what will be there'll be a breach. Don't know how big, and I don't know what the consequences are, but it will specifically be going after Bitcoin. And essentially, if the code's faulty, it's like Bitcoin survived all this time because of its code, of the way the network works. It survived after so many years, right? So what happens is when you start changing how things work, if you start changing the fundamentals, the basics of how Bitcoin work, you're introducing an unknown. So by adding the SegWit and more people adopting it, that might be fine, but maybe one day there'll be some sort of hack or something that will affect, or slowly people will be siphoning off Bitcoin out of the network or something like that. There could be issues with that, and that's the other side of the coin. So you've got one side is, hey, we want to make Bitcoin faster and do all this blah blah blah, and then the other side is you're losing security of what Bitcoin was all about. And I think, look, it's one of those things, some people are for and against it, but at the end of the day, when it goes to the market, and then if there is a problem with hacks, that's when it's going to bring down the network, and who knows what will happen. It's just an extra risk. So there's plenty of other projects that are not dealing with this SegWit, and they're not at risk from this. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention. So, and there was we talked about Tim Draper before. He was mentioned in that other article. He says Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will take over the world, and I agree with him. I think that the technology from blockchain is going to change our lives in ways that we can't imagine. Just like little things that happened years ago that were invented and created, and now down the track has changed our lives completely. So he says enthusiastic about creativity that ICOs bring to society and the progress these entrepreneurs can make, but teams need to be careful planning to manage people's expectations in case the token is popular. Also, I think because they raised 230 million, he was part of a project. Also, he says in 5 years, if you go to Starbucks or McDonald's and try to buy a burger or a coffee with a fiat currency, the person at the counter is going to laugh at you. That's a great little statement that he's made. And that's what he believes. And look, there's no reason why that can't exist. I'm not sure how the governments and stuff are going to deal with it, but at the end of the day, the things that make a difference in the world, they are going to survive, and these blockchain technologies are going to survive. So I think that's exciting news and positive news from Tim. I like that one. So we had a look at the quick list of the richest people. That's all good. And I'll just have a look at your questions, see what you got for me. Yeah, so these, you got Lightning Network, back when we brought up the Lightning Network, and you got SegWit. So they're all different ways of trying to solve this scaling problem with Bitcoin, which is, it is important. Bitcoin is tied into all other currencies. It's the gateway. It's the first one everyone's hear about. It's the first one you buy to get into that. But I foresee in the future that when you very first get into crypto, instead of just buying Bitcoin, you'll be able to buy pretty much any crypto you want the very first time. And when that happens, you won't need to buy Bitcoin. And eventually, the Bitcoin dominance is going to be less. And so at the moment, everything's compared to Bitcoin. But the day will come when another currency will overtake Bitcoin. right? Okay. And then they'll have to reevaluate, are they going to compare everything to Bitcoin or not? So the dynamics in the market are going to change, I believe, at that stage, and maybe there'll be something dominant. But there's plenty of projects which, you know, are like, it's like generation 1. Bitcoin's the old school generation 1. Then you got Gen 2, these other projects coming through, and now they're already up to Gen 3. So, you know, and it does take time for these networks to happen and get bigger. So yeah, it's interesting. Some of these other networks might totally dominate the marketplace over Bitcoin, and you know, maybe 5 years time we may not be even using Bitcoin. It might be something we talk about in the past, because there's a lot of places and companies and businesses that were the first one into the market and did something big, but then someone came along and beat them out because they kept on improving. So that's the thing. If you don't improve and make your product better, you're going to die in the marketplace. So yeah, I just had I think that was all the news I wanted to cover. Just see if you guys have got any other questions. Nothing there. Someone's asking about, Manto says, what do I think of Bitclave? I actually haven't had a look at Bitclave. I'll just have a quick look now for you. I don't really have an opinion on it. Bitclave. Cat. So it's at 4 cents. It's got about a 1.6 billion supply. We'll have a quick look at their website. So this is interesting. So it started off, you know, 26 cents back in January. So it's only really just started recently. So it's run as high as 30 cents. Now what's interesting is, I mean, I know the whole markets went down, and I suppose it's hard to say, but it's went all the way down to 4 cents. I mean, it's lost a lot. So because from 4 cents up to nearly 40 cents. So that's like 100. Wow. That's like a big decrease. So if you'd bought at any of this period now, you would have lost some serious money. It's quite possible you got in early, but maybe not. So we'll have a quick look at their website and see what it says. So I don't know, they're not off to a good start. I remember this one. This was an ICO. I do remember this one. Let's check it out on icodrops.com. And we'll just go back to Bitclave now. So decentralized search engine. So I suppose they want to be like a Google, but they want to be decentralized. So interesting idea. Yeah, so it's true. Every time you search something, you know, they're monetizing that, selling your clicks. Yeah, that's how Google generates all their money and other platforms. So their idea is pretty good. You know, private searching. So it's an interesting concept. Okay. Now, maybe it was just a bad timing that they got into the market when they did. I'll just have a quick look for, see if I can find them in the list, as I think it was here in the list. So Bitclave. So there it is in the list. Let's have a look at Bitclave. So they raised about 25 million. So it ended in 29th of November, which makes sense. Yep, so it would have just been then. So had a huge pump during the whole market went up. So right now it's not in a good position. Now, I'll tell you why this is not a good thing. So at the moment, it is essentially down against Bitcoin. If you put in ETH, it's down like a third, and USD, it's down half. Now, these other ICOs that released, you know, in the same sort of period, that have, compared to this, have done really well. So look, it's hard to say. Maybe when they finally get their project up and running, they're going to get more happening. But when you have a look at this, what's actually happened, essentially, if you'd got in the ICO or just after the ICO, and check out the ICO price. Let's have a look now. So it was 4 cents. It rapidly went up to 22 cents. So it was like literally 5x your money. Then you got a second go of it, and it went to 30. So we started at 4 cents. It literally 10x'd right in the peak of January, and it's died right back now. Obviously, with the whole market going down, we're back to 4 cents, which is price people paid. Now, if you believe this project is pretty good, now would be the time to buy around about the 4 cent level, okay? But there's people that got in it just to make money, and they made between 5 and 10x on this project. The whole project, they've completely sold out now with the whole market. The question is, are they going to regain anything? So it's a hard thing. To me, here's why, why did Google become, the way they are? It's because at the time, they had the best product in the marketplace for people to search. When you searched, you got way better results with Google than you did with other search engines. And I remember this. There was Yahoo. There was Alta Vista, I think. That was one of them. There was a couple of other ones. And I remember trying all those. There was even directories, because search was not very good. And then along came Google, and it was amazing because the search engine, the results that it was getting was incredible, and that was an amazing product, and that is what drove adoption. Now, Bitclave, the only way it's going to go in value is if it can get market adoption in people using decentralized search. So that's a big ask, because you're asking people like me, yourself, to change the browser that you're using and the way you browse the internet. And unless it is superior or extremely worthwhile changing, I can't see people changing to decentralized search. Maybe if they want to do private search, but there's already other things like DuckDuckGo that do privacy searching. So look, there may be a good project, maybe good people. It's ranked 304 at the moment. I really think it's had its day. It still might increase, but I really can't see it going more than 10x in the near future, especially with all the new project that's happening, and people have already made their money out of it. So yeah, that's my personal opinion on that one. So I'll nearly finish up. Let's just have a quick look at what else you're saying. Hey Adrian, how you doing? Welcome. So Rommel says, check the President Trump coin in CoinMarketCap. All right, let's have a look at this coin. My goodness, I think people get bored. And president, there was two. I think some people just create coins for the hell of it. Oh man, there's some crazy coins. So President Trump, PRESS. Pardon me. Yeah, wow. So less than 2 cents, then they pump it up and try and sell it someone at 3 cents and make a ton of money. And then we've just had another spike. It was like 0.007, and it like spiked up and sold for 1 cent. So yeah, this is interesting. Look, you might be able to buy some of that and then try and sell out at a higher price. That's a possibility. But I'd stay away from this sort of stuff, because problem is you got low volume. There's only 112,000 volume in this sort of stuff. So it might be a bit of fun, but yeah, I don't think this is something you can trade. I really don't think it's going anywhere. I haven't even looked at the website. But yeah, I think it's just a bit of fun. No, I don't actually have any. Mento says, do any faucet websites, or I've actually never really done any of that. Yeah, I know there is sites, but there's a lot of spammy, scammy type sites. So I kind of stay away. There's probably some genuine ones, but I normally stay away from them. All right, this was Bitclave. Yeah, we checked that out before, so we'll close that one down. Close down our news. Yeah, so, and also they're not doing well in terms of post ICO. Even other ones, even with this market, let's have a look at track origin trail. Where is it? It's not there. So origin trail, this ended not too long ago, 14 million. I must admit, yeah, it is 17th of January, so it's still early days. Even now, the whole market is down, is at 2x. So, yeah, token price currently 21 cents, and doesn't actually mention I can't see the starting price for that, but it must have been around 10 cents because it's around about $2 there, I would say. So even something like this, I know it started a little bit later, but even that's fared well in this market. So yeah, you just got to compare it to some of the other ICOs that have finished. And also, I mean, essentially ICOs and new coins, they all have that opportunity. And, you know, 5 and 10x. So it definitely was a good play, but I don't know about any more. You know, I don't know if it really has a future. There's plenty of other new coins coming out. All right. So what else we got? Someone did ask about Polymath. I haven't actually looked at Polymath. I think I'm whitelisted for Polymath. I think I did get in that one. I'll just check out. I'll have a quick look here. So Poly. And then I think we finish up shortly. Roma says, yeah, that meme coin, Dogecoin. Yeah, crazy. There's just nothing going on with that. That's just like a pump and dump way to make people get into it and make money. Well, the people that know what they're doing and can move into Dogecoin and then get people who don't know about it to invest in it. And then they pump the price and then sell it off and make money. Okay, so token sale, 13th of January. We'll have a quick look. So essentially, between financial securities and blockchain for legal process. Yeah, look, some of these ones, they're pretty interesting what they do. Now this one says there's no ICO or crowd sale, only an airdrop. So there you go, that's interesting. So I'm not sure how people are going to, you know, capitalize on that, except maybe the people that are starting it, maybe they're just keeping it to themselves, I suppose. Interesting. I think they're trying to basically bring over securities onto the blockchain from what I've gathered. Just doing this little one here. Probably have to read the right paper. Some of this stuff I've kept away from. Like, depends on what you want to do. If you want to make you know, good returns in a short period of time, some of these ones that do with securities, they're not the go, because it takes a long time for the legalities to come through. So it might take months or a year or 2 years before, you know, this project takes off. And if you want to wait around for that, sure. But if you want, yeah, even something like that one we saw before with Bitclave, it was 5 to 10x within a short period of time. So yeah, some of these projects, you know, you got to either think long term or a little bit shorter term. It's up to you, depending on what you want to do. And whether it's an ICO or a coin, you still got to look at, they're very similar. It's just how old they are, really. So yeah, I don't really have too much opinion on that, except you can only participate by airdrop, I believe. So I think that's all I want to cover for tonight. So that's all good. Back William says, when track will be listed on other exchange? Don't know. I would say, look, I've been happy with their rollout so far. what was it? Hit BTC. Yeah, that was just recently that they listed on that. That was shit, honestly. I don't know if any of you guys have been with Hit BTC. When you put money, I've said this before, you put money in tokens or Ethereum, you pay for when it transfers in. Then when you're in there, you have to pay fees. And then when you transfer it out, you have to do fees as well. So literally, it cost me a fair chunk of money to get into that just to be prepared. And then the volume wasn't there. And I can understand why, because of the fees. And when you've got things like Binance, Coinbase, where it's zero fees, they've just got to get some more. They've got to get more tokens, more tradables on there. So look, there's a whole bunch of other platforms, even KuCoin, where if you hold KuCoin, you're actually getting payments from KuCoin as well. So that's not too bad as well. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, and Hit BTC is not where it's at. So I don't know exactly when they're going to hit exchange. They're not going to announce that information. It's usually confidential because it's a big advantage if you can get in early. I mean, they do disclose when they're going to do it, and it gives you time to transfer your tokens and stuff like that. But definitely, the price is going to move when it hits some of the other exchanges, and hopefully by that time we'll see a recovery with Bitcoin and ETH and the rest of the market, and that will drive up the price as well. So I'm pretty excited about that. Got into another ICO last night. That went well. It was one of the smoothest ones I've got into for a while, and that was Tether, which I did briefly talk about. So I got into Tether, and that was a great project. I have covered a little bit here. I'll probably maybe do some other videos on it, but yeah, it started off well. Now at the moment, I think the crowd style is still on, so people can pick it up. They've raised 7 million. Now they've only got to get 12 million, so look, I only think a couple more days, and they will rate, well, maybe next 24 hours. So, but this is an amazing project. It's getting adoption of particularly Ethereum and eventually ERC20 tokens. But it's like when you roll out ATMs, but this is like on the phone. And so I think this is going to help more and more people, basically buy and sell crypto. So I think this is an awesome thing that's happening. So very excited about that, and I'll let you know about the progress of that one. So that's cool. I might finish up now. I appreciate everyone on board tonight. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't already liked and subscribed it and hit the bell, just do that now. And also when we're over the live, it will go to YouTube and Facebook. Just post on a comment or a question. I always love questions, and I always read those. And whoever I pick, I'll just do a random winner for the time being. So I'm going to find a random winner, and I do that every day. So at the moment, we're at $10 worth of Bitcoin cash I'm giving away, and eventually I might change to another one. I do like Dash. I'll have to get hold of some Dash because some of the fees are really low on Dash, and it's fast. So I'm pretty excited about that. So that'll be good, but I'll let you know when I make any changes. So yeah, back William, that's right. Yeah, depositing on Hit BTC, it was just a big chunk of money that I was going to give up. But, sometimes you got to try things. If they don't work out, then you tell others about them. So this is me telling you guys about Hit BTC. Sure, you can use it, but you'd be expected to pay fees. And the platform's not that great compared to other platforms. If it was world class, I would say, hey, they got high fees and they got a great service. But all I've heard is complaints and fees as well. So I don't think it's a great platform at all. That'll be my first and last transactions in that platform. So, but there's plenty of other good ones. So yeah, don't know when a lot of these coins come out, but you just got to be prepared for it. Make sure you're on the Telegram. And this applies for any coin that you're into or want to get into. So look, you hear things about, here's some trading stuff for you. If you're buying, if you want to get into a coin, right, you need to get into that coin before it goes up in value, okay? Whether it's a long-term or you're doing short-term trading. You heard that thing over and over, like you got to buy low and sell high, okay? and you might not know where low is. When the coin starts out, it's low. So ICO status is can't get much lower than that. Sure, that you might get a low thing after ICO, that something happens if it's a bad project, or maybe if the whole market goes down like we've had here. But the strong ones stay above what they did for ICO. After they come out onto exchanges, then you can get a hold of them, and you can get into like IDEX or EtherDelta, and get into those coins when they're early. And essentially, you got two things you can do. You can get into them and invest heavily if you think the project is worthwhile, and obviously you need to know what you're doing with research. And you invest in them. You're looking for maybe 3 to 6 months. It depends what you want. You might be trying to get 10x out of your investment. You can't always get 100x if the project's not going to do that. But I've seen shit coins get 10x and even more. So look, a good project could get 100x in the course of in a time frame. But you got to know where you want to get in, get out, and then make your money. So, and of course, if you do make some money, you can take it out and leave some coins in there, and they're basically free house coins. So you can do that. But yeah, essentially you need to get into coins cheap. All right. You need to get into them before they pump, because afterwards they pump, that it does have reduced chances of that, going up again, because if this, it's got to be special for it to happen, and it shouldn't have pumped and dumped the first time. If it was, if it was any good, like you don't see pumping and dumping on, really good projects, because they're not easily so manipulated. They usually generally stay at a certain price, and then they move up when good news comes out. They move to a new price level. But with the pump and dumps, it's just literally cheap coins. They start to get people interested. You see a lot of things happening out there, people talking about them, and those people are already talking about them usually have those coins, and they're telling everyone about them. And then all of a sudden there's a big move, and it might go 10x, 20x. But while those new people are buying into those coins, the people that started are selling out, and that's when they've made the money. So you got to be careful about stuff like that. That's why those pump and dump groups aren't so good, because you'll be surprised. The ones you think that you're just pumping the coin, but you're actually selling the coins to the people that are initiated and already are holding those coins, because they're pretty smart. So I think that covers about it. Appreciate that, Warren. Thank you. And lastly, I'll just say Manto says, will we get another drop? I don't think so. So doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but my personal opinion is no. I think we're going to be good. I can't see any reason why it would go down again. I think we've got some positivity. We've got some good stuff happening in the markets. I'll quickly show you a chart and then we'll finish up. Okay, we're just looking at Bitcoin USD on the GDAX. We're at just under 8,600 at the moment, 8,431. So I'll just turn off that volume. We can actually see we had huge volume here for that turnaround. But that basically that bounce from right down 5.8. Okay, so it's really been moving on up, and if we drag this out, this is on the hourly. So it still doesn't mean, look, it could still retrace, but I got a feeling it's going to, maybe, I don't know if it's necessarily just going to go crash and straight back up here in this area. I think, we might get some sideways movement, maybe some little W shapes here. So this might be continuing little Ws, and then it might continue sideways for a while. But I still think we're going to get some gains and head back up near 10,000 for sure, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But once it gets rolling again, I think we'll start to see some progression back up towards 20k. So I think this point here is one of the lowest we've seen. I don't see it going any much lower. So pretty excited about that, pretty bullish. And as I said, this was probably the best time when I was doing the videos. I was saying this is the best time to be buying. This is all a good time to be buying. You've got to buy coins when they're cheap. This is Bitcoin being cheap, okay? In fact, most of the coins were cheap. And so you're not sure about what cheap and expensive is, move to the daily. So this is expensive at 20k, and this is cheap at 3,000. How do you know? Well, you only know in basically experience and maybe hindsight, but even if you just use the Fibonacci retracement, some people think they're crap, some people don't. But basically, this coin from its highs has went down, nearly 100%, 78% of its value from that period of time. So this is way cheaper than here, and essentially you're buying at half the price that you were before. So that's the one way to look at getting things for cheaper. It's like going to the shop and you see your favorite ice cream. It was $2, and then today it's 50% off and it's $1, and you like that ice cream, so you go buy it. Okay, so this is just like Bitcoin and the other currencies. And obviously, if you can get into an ice cream when it's 5 cents, and that ice cream is so tasty and it's like as good as a cornetto, and it can sell for $2, well then you get that coin, we get that ice cream. So yeah, I like ice cream. Alrighty, I think we'll leave it there, and I will see you tomorrow night with some more winners. We'll have make sure you like and subscribe for sure, and put your